Hi, hey, what's up? Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the AyeLexTalk channel, and I am your host, Lex. I'm nervous and excited because today is my first YouTube episode. Today is the day to just get it out there, so here you go. Lately, I have been pretty detached from social media, and it's mainly because I don't want to post the average content. I want my shit to mean something. I have had the opportunity lately to spend much more time with my family, and I realized this is how it's supposed to be. This is what I want most of my time to be like. So this video is the first step to achieve that goal, is to spend as much time with family as possible. So let's get started. Hey, let's talk. Oh, hey, let's talk.
About what?
Hey, let's talk.
Okay.
Let's talk.
All right.
You're
now.
tuning in to Let's Talk. Today's video is about my brother Devin. Let me start by saying that my siblings are my everything. That's why it's dire, it's extremely vital and important that I do everything in my power to get my brother back from the legal system. So you can imagine how distraught I was and my family was when we found out that the original attorney who was paid to defend my brother brought no defense, lied, and gave my brother to the state of Mississippi just for another conviction. Like, what the But there were so many loopholes and disasters in this case that you would think a judge would dismiss it. Let me just start from the beginning. Long ago in 2013, my mother's house was broken into, robbed. And on that same day, my aunt's house was broken into and robbed. The ironic thing about this break-in that it had to be somebody my brother knew closely. And what was crazy about their burglary was they broke into through my mom's window and went straight to my brother's room. Didn't take anything from any other room in the house but my brother's room. Shoes, money, I believe jewelry, gone. Same thing in my aunt's house. Nobody's room was broken into or stolen from but my cousins, and they had this mutual person that they knew, and I guess he decided to take advantage of them and our moms and rob us. Fast forward, we don't see this guy for some years. He just disappears, and then one day the next year my brother ran into the guy suspected to rob my mom's house. There was no one else that could have done it but this guy. My brother knew that this guy broke into my mom's house and my cousin's house. A police report was filed. A car was identified. Nothing was done. We had no follow-up. We didn't get any notification that the case was closed. Just nothing. Only a police report was filed. But any kind of way you got the car, the license plate, and the name of the person who did it, I don't understand why no charges was filed or this man wasn't found and arrested. Fast forward back to 2014. One day my brother was driving down street in Mississippi, headed to my aunt's house. 3 minutes before he gets there, 3 minutes, he sees the dude who robbed him. He sees the dude that broke into my mama's house, that broke into my cousin's house, and who betrayed his trust. And he gets these rush of emotions and anger and just frustration. He stops his car and he approaches the guy. And do you know what he did? The guy looked at him but pointed a gun at him. He pointed a gun at my brother. As my brother is staring down the barrel of a gun, he says, "If you shoot me, you better kill me." For him to be so scared, afraid, angry, all in that one moment, and that's what he chooses to say in the face of a gun, Wow. Instead of getting his gun or running away, he smacks the gun out of dude's hand, start fighting. They both going back and forth. He pins him to the ground and just going do do do, you know, beating him up. As soon as he yells stop and starts crying out for help, my brother stops. He gets off of him, picks up a nearby bag to grab the gun and says, "You're not finna kill me today. You're not killing shit today." So he tosses the gun and pulls off in his car. Meanwhile, the neighbors have come outside and they witnessed the fight and they call the police because dude yelling for help. No one died, no one got shot, and no one was badly injured to where they couldn't speak, walk, talk, or function as a human. I was completely surprised when they arrested him and charged him with attempted robbery with a firearm. What? Not even 3 minutes down the street away from my aunt's house, he gets pulled over by the Mississippi police. He proceeds to explain this to him. And they've already, I guess, believed the neighbors or whatever story that they were fed, and they're not listening to him. They didn't investigate his side of the story. They didn't pull up no police reports. They didn't question the man who called the police, or they just booked him and took him down there. So we're like, okay, we're gonna beat this. We get an attorney who is, I guess, well known in Mississippi, who knows the Mississippi law. This attorney assured us that he would do everything in his power to get this case dismissed. Years went by, getting this waived, and he's saying this won't make it to trial. We can get this dismissed, and if anything, to do community service or probation. This was his first offense, and this was not armed robbery. This was simply, if anything, assault. It was just a fight. A firearm was there, but my brother was the one in danger. So you would think that this attorney could easily get this case dismissed, but instead get continuance after continuance after continuance. The first couple, we believed that he was doing that because he had promised to hire a private investigator to speak to the witnesses that were outside, to speak to my aunt who was moments down the street, and to speak with my brother and the man involved. This was merely time that let the prosecution build a case against my brother. What narratives they could stretch, what strings that they could pull to sway and convince others of a narrative that they created. We go to court and it's a trial. My brother is on trial, not prepared for trial. Darren didn't speak to any witnesses, didn't call my auntie, didn't do anything that he said he would do. Basically lied over and over again for whatever little money we gave him. Continued to lie. It led to a trial that my brother was not prepared for. As soon as my brother found out he was going to trial, he made a statement saying that he needed new counsel. He was not prepared. This was a blindside to him. He thought that he was going to court to get this matter dismissed. He never thought that he would see the guy. He never thought that he would see a jury. Or when he found out that he was going to trial, he prepared a statement. Before anything was done, the judge had asked him, "Is there anything that you would like to say?" If I could address the courtroom, I, Devin Arrington, would like to state that in the past 24 hours, new life-threatening information on my behalf has been brought to my attention. Mr. Vance, my attorney, has failed to pursue actions that were discussed in private about my defense. 3 years ago, after paying $6,000 to Mr. Vance and meeting with him on different occasions, as well as attending mandatory court dates throughout a 2 to 3 year span, I and Mr. Vance kept a mutual contact with one another periodically pertaining to matters on upcoming procedures that he claimed he would address accordingly. After listening to a voicemail on the 4th of April, I was under the impression that Mr. Vance had already hired and spoken with a private investigator at my expense, whom would not have only spoken with alleged victim, but with witnesses as well. It wasn't until the 17th of April, yesterday, 2017, the original court date, I was made to believe by Mr. Vance that I was notified that these procedures and actions had not been made by him, thus resulting in a lack of evidence, witnesses, and representation on the behalf of my defense. With that being said, I would like to request a continuance for additional and or new representation to properly defend my case, Your Honor. That was my brother's statement. But what she basically said was that this was a tactic so he could stay out of jail, when he really did not know. So for her to neglect her responsibilities as a judge, she didn't even consider how my brother was feeling. This was his first offense, and she just did not care. She just was ready to throw him away. And I believe that family is always stronger when everyone created is involved in the constant evolution of our legacy. Okay, so this shirt that I'm wearing says Akase. And I want to say that it's an African word. And my friend, Mr. Grant Wells, is behind this brand. And it stands for a lot of stuff that I want to get behind, and I want to support him. Black entrepreneur, nonprofit organization. What Akase does is it sheds light on significant achievements of African Americans. And in doing so, our goal is to use education to strengthen communities and provide individuals with a sense of self-respect and dignity. Yeah, Akase, Akase. Akase, Akase. Shout out to Grant. I hope you're doing well. I can't wait to get new merchandise. That has been the first AyeLexTalk YouTube video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Lex out. My brother's name is Devin Arrington. He was wrongfully convicted of attempted robbery in the state of Mississippi after fighting with a former friend who burglarized multiple homes of our family members. This was Devin's first offense, but the judge sentenced him to 15 years. Because of Mississippi state laws, he must serve 85% of this wrongful conviction. Please help me help him. Share this story to continue the fight for justice. Justice for Devin.